Cool. So we'll start with an introduction. First, I'll introduce myself and then we'll know a little bit about the course. So, my name is Jay Mishra, and currently I'm working with Cisco as their AWS security lead and as a security investigator. Before coming to Cisco, I was working with Amazon, particularly into their AWS, you can say AWS unit as their security associate. So I have been training students for around 7 years now, and I train in Python, machine learning, IoT, and now particularly into AWS cloud. So today there will be just an introduction about the course. What can you expect out of the course? What is the scope? Um, what do we need to learn? Why do we need to learn? And most importantly, after we are done with learning, what's next? Are we quite ready for the opportunities? Is there something we need to ramp up more? So we'll have a little bit of discussion on each of these. So let's just dive into it straight away. The course would be of AWS Solutions Architect career path. So now there are multiple things in the name itself. First of all comes the AWS and then the solutions architect. So I'll introduce you to these things one by one. First of all, let's just take the concept of cloud. What is cloud and where do we right now are using it into a day-to-day life? The simplest way to understand cloud is uh, is to just check your phone and you whoever is using an Android phone, right? You might be having an app name as Photos, and basically Photos is a Google offering which enables you to back up your whatever the photos that you have. It's kind of an automatic backup if you turn it on, and it backs up all your photos that are present on your mobile to a to Google server basically, right? GBs, 15 GBs of photos over there. But the thing is, it's very much possible that the free space in your phone is just maybe 20 MBs or 1 GBs. Still, then you would see that you in the photo app you can see photos worth multiple GBs. So how is that magic happening, right? Because your phone is not having that much memory, then how is that photos app showing you all that information? Now whoever is given it a slightest thought would understand that it's like kind of a very normal assumption that obviously whatever the data that is being shown, whatever the photos that are being shown on the photos app is basically uploaded to a Google server, right, to a remote location. And how are you able to access it? That app is providing you an interface, and using that interface you are able to access a remote server which has all your photos on it, right? Now you don't even know that where is that photo being uploaded. It could be in India itself, it could be maybe in US, UK, Australia. You would never know that, right? So this is what cloud is. Okay, cloud means you are using hardware, you're using computation, you're using storage, you're using something, but you do not have that with you right now. That hardware you don't have with you. Okay, that storage you don't have with you on your on-prem server. What does on-prem means? Means on premises. If you're storing 20 MBs of song on your phone, that song is present on your SD card, that would mean it is an on-premise storage. And what would be cloud storage in that case? Take an example of these apps that you use, such as Spotify. Okay, let's say Spotify uploads all its data to a cloud, to a remote location, and all you need to use is a app to access that song and play it, right? So this is what cloud is. It's nothing more than The server that you used to have with you, very close to you, maybe in your room or in your building, now those servers will be kept far, far, far away, 10,000 kilometers away, maybe, and you'll still be able to access that server at a lightning speed using internet. Okay. Now, Amazon Web Services is a cloud offering. Okay. Amazon Web Services is the market leader right now. It has around 60 to 70% of the market share. I would not say it was the first mover. There were clouds before that, but nobody executed it in a manner AWS did. It started with a single service, which was S3. Okay. You can imagine S3. S3 is a storage service in which you can upload the data and download from it remotely. It's just like your Google Drive. So Google Drive is an excellent example of a cloud-based solution, right? You would be using your Google Drive maybe to upload some PDF, your documents, maybe a song, maybe photos that you want to share to one of your cousins or one of your friends, n number of use cases. Now that's just one use of cloud, using it as a storage. However, the things have changed. The reason why cloud has become so much important and why it's kind of impossible to steer away from cloud is because of the number of offerings, number of services they give you. Okay. So storage is just one. And then there comes the concept of cloud computation. Okay. What is a cloud based computation? You can imagine it like this. Let's say you wanted to play a game, which is a very graphic intuitive game. I'll say Cyberpunk, GTA 5. GTA 5 can run on like I have a graphic card of like 5 years old, and still I can play GTA 5 pretty well on it. So not that graphic intuitive. But yeah, Cyberpunk could be the one. Forza, Forza Horizon 5. Now, what if I wanted to play Cyberpunk, but my laptop would obviously not allow it, right? It needs at least 8 GBs of graphic card, let's say. Now, I do know that my friend who is in Australia, he has a laptop which is equipped with latest graphics, latest graphic card, latest RAM, latest SSD. So, that game could run very easily on his computer, but not on mine. So, the first thing that comes into the mind is, hey, isn't it possible to somehow use the computation power of that laptop, which is kept at a remote location, right? Somehow use that computation power and still be able to see the game and play it, right? Now, this again is a cloud based service. Okay. In Amazon, you can think of it as an EC2. Okay. So, Amazon EC2 service is a service which allows you to rent out the servers. Means you can, if you want, let's say 1 GB of RAM, you want a new server and you want 1 GB of RAM. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, your screen is not visible, it's all blank.
Oh, is it? Okay, just give me one sec.
Sure,
Because
sure.
I can see it's showing as I'm sharing my screen. This is weird. Let me try again.
Sure, sure.
All right, I think this would not allow it to. Okay, I think it's still you would not be able to see it, right?
No, no, it's visible.
No, it's
Okay, the
visible
PPT
now.
is visible.
Yes, yes, it's visible now.
Okay, then that's
Yes.
perfect. Okay, thanks. Okay, so what I was saying is Amazon EC2. So Amazon EC2 is a service which allows you to rent out the servers. I'll give you an example. Let's say you are a very small startup and you have a e-commerce website. Okay, you are creating a startup under Make in India, and you're putting up an e-commerce website maybe to sell some products or whatever n number of use cases, right? So What is the first thing that you'll need to do if you actually want to have a kind of a proper working website and you're expecting at least a crowd of maybe 5,000 people visiting it every day? So even in case of a normal startup, if people want, if they are aware of security, if they want to have a kind of a proper deployment, they'll have to go ahead and buy servers. They'll have to set it up. They'll have to get a high internet connectivity. They'll need to have power backup. They'll need to have good power connections, right? It's not like something your transformer in your colony blasted away and now your customers cannot access website for next 2 hours. It's very common in India, right? So that's not the kind of solution you would be looking forward to. So you'll have to have good backups, you'll have to have good electricity connection, you'll have to have someone who can manage these servers, clean them up, put air conditioners. So the capex, okay, which is the capital expenditure that you employ while you create any kind of data center, even a very small data center, even a very small server room, even with a single computer, is very high. If you go ahead and if you go to the market right now to buy a server, it it almost starts with a lakh, 1 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees. So what's the solution here? For everyone that's not possible, right? Everyone just cannot uh, go ahead and invest a lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees for a single server. So wouldn't it be nice that somehow you can just rent out the servers for some period of time, and then maybe you can later on, if you want more, you can rent out more, or if you want less, you can just let it be, right? You can offboard those servers and say, hey, I don't want these servers on rent anymore. This is what cloud enabled us to do, and this is why the cloud has breezed the market to this level that there are very very handful of companies in the world, maybe just 10 to 20% companies which are still not on cloud, and the only reason for them being legacy companies, their softwares are not ready to be onboarded to cloud, and
Jay,
they are pacing
your
quite
screen,
forward.
Jay, your screen is again showing black.
Yeah, screen actually that there's means nothing much to share here.
Okay,
This is just the introduction, so if there is anything that needs to be shared and explained via the PPT, I'll just confirm once if you're able to see it. Okay.
okay.
All right. So this is one of the solution that cloud provided, which enables you to use a pricing model which is pay as you go. Okay, if you just want to rent out a server for 2 days, just pay maybe $10 or $20, use the server for 2 days, delete the server next day, right? So this flexibility, this scalability became the driving force for the cloud technology. Okay, so can you now see my screen? I hope it's now, it would be now clear, right?
Yeah, it's visible,
Okay.
visible.
Okay. So as you can see, it all started from 2006 when it was launched. However, it took kind of a pace on 2008, and many people know that yeah, AWS actually started from 2008. But however, it dates back to 2006. Now, AWS provides different kind of services, which are compute, database, storage, networking, mobile analytics, multiple domains of things you can manage with AWS server, and it's growing at a tremendous rate. It's and the thing is, and the reason is, see, the demand of computation will keep on increasing. If you see the graph, the demand for computation and the services, it's raising at an exponential rate. Now as the demand of computation will increase, machine learning, AI, IoT, even for normal software, now you need better computers, right? Even for Photoshop, you'll have to have a good computer with you. So the demand of computation will keep on increasing, and so will be the hardware price. Now it's not possible for everyone to just keep on upgrading their hardware just for the sake of, so that they can keep up with the technology and have that computation. So people with on-prem solution will have to compromise at some step, or will have to put in a lot of money. Otherwise, the answer to that question is cloud. Now you can divide these cloud customers into three types. First is enterprise, second is public sectors, and the third is startups. Enterprise customers, quite obvious. Netflix, Apple, everyone uses AWS. The backend of Apple Cloud has been using AWS at its core, whether it's Uber, Ola, whichever company, right? Instagram, does not matter. Every single of them, up to some extent, is using one or the other service of AWS. Now, when it comes to public sector, government is now highly dependent upon these things. In India, although the ramp up is not that fast, but in US they have a different cloud for government, and that is known as Gov Cloud, which keeps the data segregated from normal people. And government, government folks and government employee can just upload their data over there, and it will ensure them a nice compliance, good security. And it goes unsaid that the startups are the ones who will be making the most profitability out of this, just because of the reason that earlier, if you have to even set up a small data center, your capex could start from 5 lakhs or 4 lakhs, and it can go up to, yeah, multiple crores. It matters of what kind of deployment you're doing. And just forget about the number of days it would take, right? One day you go ahead and buy a server, second day an engineer comes in, he inspects, third day something else, they connect the wires. It's a very long process. It would take multiple days. And you know how long would it take on AWS to deploy a data center? I think 4 to 7 minutes. It's that quick, it's that easy to work with the cloud. And this is why right now, uh, each and every company is in one way or the other using cloud. Okay. Earlier there were solutions such as firewalls, which has now been the firewalls used to be actual hardware earlier, but now they have been replaced with Amazon security groups. There used to be physical routers and switches which Cisco expertised. Now those are being replaced with elastic load balancers and virtual private cloud. We used to buy earlier on-prem solutions. Now they are being replaced with EC2 instances. And yeah, the first offering was the storage itself. So cloud-based storage is the most famous thing. So whether it's database or the normal storage, everything is now provided by cloud itself. And the reason of this is the advantage and benefit is, first of all, as I explained, the trade capital expense is very less, right? Earlier the capital expenditure used to be very high, now it's very less. There is a very steep increase in speed and agility. Okay, by that what I mean is you can scale up to 100 servers in 5 minutes, and scale down to, maybe you can delete 95 servers in 2 or 3 minutes. And the same thing if you would have tried to do with maybe an on-prem solution, yeah, just forget about it. It would have taken days and days, a lot of compliance, a lot of people involved, too much stress for that, right? So like the benefit says, you stop spending money on running and maintaining the data center. You don't even need to maintain it. If it's an AWS property, everything that you do on cloud is either owned by like AWS, Google, Microsoft, right? So it's their responsibility to take care of it. You can go global in minutes, deploy a website immediately, and you wouldn't have to do much. And you don't even need to guess the capacity, which is a very important concept, right? See, sometimes you would not know how much people might be visiting your website. You can be under optimistic or over optimistic. If you're under optimistic, you're paying more cost. You bought 10 servers, however only one is being utilized. If you are um, yeah, that would be over optimistic. And if you're under optimistic, if you have not guessed it right, maybe the actual requirement was 10 servers, you only have 2 servers and they are running at 100% capacity, and not everyone is being catered by your servers and they're not able to visit your website. You don't need to do that with AWS. The scalability is automatic. As soon as, if you're using AWS load balancers and AWS auto scaling, just like the name suggests, they will increase the servers as soon as the traffic increases and decrease the servers as soon as the traffic decreases. So by now it's pretty obvious that yeah, it's a pretty amazing technology. Now the question is, how do we get into it, and what is the scope in terms of careers? So first thing first, if your resume does not have cloud in it, it's really tough. Maybe for like next 1 year or 2 year, maybe you could survive, but down the line, 3 5 years, as these silicon chip crisis increases, the hardware cost would increase, and the remaining 10 to 20% companies who don't have anything on cloud right now will have to pivot to cloud. So it's kind of a compulsion to have a cloud mentioned on your resume just to be shortlisted. Now the question is, up to what extent? And this is where you'll have to take a decision yourself. See, it's very easy to start with cloud. It's very simple to learn a few services and start working with them. You would have to decide what is your interest in cloud itself, because in cloud, as you can see, there are more than 200 services right now in AWS. Some services are only for networking, some services are database, some services only security, some services for analytics, IoT, machine learning, and it's impossible to learn 200 of these, right? So this is why we start with a course, which you can start with AWS Cloud Practitioner, or if you want to have a more professional level certificate, you can start with AWS Solutions Architect, which is this course. It's a word recognized course, and the main advantage of taking up a solutions architect courses, it kind of encompasses all these services up to some extent. So we'll be learning cloud, we'll be learning compute, network, storage, security, applications, database, analytics, everything we'll learn up to some extent. So this particular course will give you an exposure and will let you understand that, hey, I don't think I'm that much interested into database, but yeah, I'm really interested into, um, let's say, mobile services. There is so much app development going on. Maybe if I just ramp up on mobile services, I'll land the job of my dream, right? And if there is a mobile company right now, if there is an app development company right now, sooner or later, and I'm pretty sure they would be using it, but if they are not, sooner or later they will have to use a cloud-based service for even mobile app development, right? So this course allows you to extend the scope of knowledge and at the same time give you a professional certification which would allow you to apply for n number of jobs. Okay. However, down the line, you can choose your particular expertise which you love the most and just leave out all the rest. It depends on you. I'll give you an example. Like, I am the cloud security lead of Cisco. So uh, I don't really care about mobile services. I have never worked upon, I'm never being asked to work on that. Why? Because my area of expertise is cloud security. So what I know is all these services pretty well. I know Inspector, Artifact, HSM, Directory Service, IAM, KMS, all these cloud-based services which pertain to the security side of the things. I'll definitely know it inside out. Okay, but how will I even know that, okay, this is my interest and this is something that is not, might be not very interesting to me? So this course will help you understand that. We'll be doing different kind of deployments. The lectures whichever we would be having would be divided into around three parts. We'll have a little bit of theoretical session at first, in which I'll be explaining you the concepts related to a particular service. We'll then try to do a particular deployment. It's not possible to deploy all these services, use all these services throughout the course. However, whatever would be the possibility, we'll be deploying those resources. And then towards the end, we'll be discussing some use cases, industrial use cases, and whatever be the question and answers. Okay. Now, coming to the last part is, we have understood that yeah, it's very important to learn this. It's very important to learn this technology, but there are multiple technologies to be learned. How do I draw a line? What's the entry barrier for this? So let me first clear out, there is no entry barrier to cloud. Like in programming, you have an entry barrier of knowing coding, right? You need to code in C, C++, Java or something. But this is the biggest advantage of cloud. You don't need to know coding. Okay, maybe 10% of time, if your profile is of that sort, at that time you might need to know coding. However, 90% of time you would be just interacting with a console. Okay, now you would need to have some prerequisite networking information. So it's good to ramp up on some networking concepts before jumping into cloud. However, we'll be even discussing most of those through this course. Okay, now the last question that comes into the mind is, okay, I learned this course, I got this certification, now what? Where to apply, how to apply? So if you just write right now, like cloud engineer, cloud security engineer, SRE, whatever profile you write, up to means every each of those job profiles will require you to work on cloud at some extent. However, if you want to be completely working into cloud domain, there are profiles such as I'll give you the example of easiest one. You can start with a cloud engineer. Okay, now when I say easiest one, it's because it's the most obvious job that a cloud, after taking this course, you might want to do. And a cloud engineer would do a number of things. They might be the ones who are deploying the codes on the cloud. You don't need to know the coding to deploy the code on the cloud. Okay, you just need to know the method of doing it. There is no coding involved. So you might want to work in that case with the developer tools, which is AWS Cloud Build, AWS Code Commit, Code Deploy, Code Pipeline, X-Ray, right? You might want to get into the security, cyber security, cloud security. See, if you want to have that edge on your salary, okay, you will have to steer away from the traditional work that's going on. Okay, if you think that you just want to be a normal software engineer and just keep on working with C, C++, Java, and not ramp up on these new technologies, you are taking a big hit on your salary. Okay, and if you are aware of these new technologies, cloud, machine learning, analytics, IoT, okay, then sky's the limit for you. Now, what is the salary expectation and what is the experience level? um, some companies will allow people with zero experience to join in, but in that case your work might not be that challenging. It might be kind of a customer facing job, or depending upon which which job you're applying for. And always these things such as cloud will be incorporated with some other technology also, depending upon the job that you're applying for. So you can be a cloud consultant, and in that case you would be um, people will be coming to you with the questions. So cloud consultant is like a two level down with solutions architect. A job of a solutions architect is quite straightforward. You will be given a problem statement. Okay, I'll give you an example. Like, you will be given a problem statement in which your company CEO would say, hey, we are deploying this new app. We are expecting 1 lakh users per day, and I think we would need 10 to, no, let's say 100 servers. Okay, and there will be a lot of load. We would need scaling, and we would need security. Now it's your job to design an architecture and submit it to the engineering team. Okay, now when I say design an architecture, it means that you should be able to understand what a service does and how it works with others. Okay, how easy to works with auto scaling, how easy to works with load balancer, how a storage service which works with a compute service, how a compute service works with a let's say database service. So a solutions architect is a person who has knowledge of various services offered by a particular cloud, and he's able to create an architecture if given a particular problem statement. And it's not always that you would be given a particular problem statement and you'll have to solve problems at a very high level. The problems could be really simple. Like, there are 5 instances and 3 of them are running at 100%, while 2 of them are even not being utilized. your engineers will say, hey sir, do you have any cloud based solution that can help us with this? And you'll say, yeah, why don't you deploy a load balancer? A load balancer, like a name suggests, will distribute the load in these 5 servers, right? So it's a very interesting job. um, it's a technology which will just keep on increasing, because there is no going back. From cloud you cannot get back to on prem. Nobody would want to invest that much of money. Cloud is easier to manage, easier to learn, easier to scale, and much, much, much cheaper. So it's kind of a win-win situation, right? So during this course, we'll be learning multiple things. We'll be discussing multiple use cases. Your salaries. When I started with cloud, I had 3 months of experience, and it was around, yeah, you can expect around 10 to 12 LPA in the start, and down the line, if you have kind of like 2 to 3 years of experience in cloud or related technology, you can expect your package to be 15 to 25. Okay, so these packages are not that common, um, and the sheer reason being that there is a huge demand for resources in cloud, but the supply is very less. Very few people are aware of this technology. And when I say very very few, you would be saying that, hey, we hear everybody talk about cloud. See, talking about cloud is one thing. Everybody talks about machine learning and AI. Can you implement it? How many people can? They cannot. They, if you give a problem statement to them, they wouldn't be able to comprehend that how can we use that technology into it. So knowing about a technology is a different thing. Knowing it inside out and actually being able to use it, it's a different thing. There are very few folks, and the demand is very high. And supply being less, your packages increase. The net increase in package, you will be getting more than your colleague if you're in a cutting edge technology. So yeah, this is just the introduction. Today we'll be learning about different services, what it encompasses, means what can be encapsulated into different categories of services, such as networking, database analytics. Why do we use it? How do we use it? Practical examples and some use cases, and some live projects also. And when I say live projects, it's really kind of straightforward, right? If you would want to do a live project with a deployment of a server, load balance, auto scaling, we'll be doing this in that class, right? So this would be it for me. But please clear out your doubts, whatever questions you have in your mind, and we'll wrap it up after that. Is there any query that you guys would want to discuss? Anything coming into your mind? I'll stop sharing my screen. Um, yeah, please let me know.
Vitra, Prince, Sidhu, any doubt you have, so you can ask right away.
Yeah. Please, means whatever doubt you have, just let me know. And even after, means after the call also, if they have some doubt, they can just reach out to you, and you can just forward the query to me. Okay. Okay. Anyone, any query regarding the course, regarding the material, what will be following?
Vitra,
Uh,
everything is clear with you? Or Prince or Sidhu?
Hello.
mhm.
Yeah, Pavitra, you can ask.
Yeah. How will the material be, and how is it going to work out on this?
Yeah, the material would be the PPT that I'm using right now. We would be using a PPT to um, discuss all these topics, and I'll be sending these PPTs so you all can refer afterwards. And I think these will be recorded also, right, Abhishek?
Yeah, you will be get every device recording also. Once class is over, you're going to get every device recording. So you will be recording as well as PPTs also you're going to get.
Okay. After completing this course, how will be able to, you know, how will the opportunities be provided from your end?
Okay, so I means as I told you, like we have a tied up with very good IT companies, and once this course is finished, what we're going to do, we're going to refer your application, towards our client company for the AWS position, and there you have to crack the interview. But before that, we go for the resume preparation as well as interview preparation. Okay. So yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much from my end. Thanks.
Okay. Yeah, Sidhu,
All
you want to
right.
ask something?
Yes, I had a query. Do you think in 3 months, is it possible to get complete knowledge over this course, or it requires more?
Yeah, 3 months is more than enough. Even in 2 months, you can completely ramp up this. It's not like coding, right? See, coding requires practice. C++, Python, you'll have to rigorously code different things. But that's not the same with cloud. If you just know the technology, you will have the kind of architecture deployment in your mind. You'll have a lot of resources to help you with.
Okay,
And even you have AWS cloud support. If you have any issues deploying something, if you forgot about how to use the service, or if your design architecture, you're not able to understand how can I deploy a website, just reach out to the AWS support and they'll help you out with it. So the ramp up time is not that much. It's the least, I would say, if you compare it with the latest technologies such as machine learning, IoT,
okay.
or even any other tech that's latest.
So, how many live projects you guys are going to cover up in 3 months? I mean,
This would depend. See, we would be, I think we would be doing practicals in each class, and
okay,
whatever those practicals are, they will be complete deployment. It's just not just opening the service and discussing the console. We'll try to do practical deployment of the server, practical deployment of the buckets, practical deployment of the database. So all those will be your live projects.
okay. So, I one more thing. What are the tools you guys are going to cover? Like in,
AWS.
yes, I mean, which includes GitHub, Terraform, Apache
No, no,
Tomcat.
no, no, no. This is, see, this is what I was trying to explain. If you're
Yes.
using AWS, you
Okay.
don't need to learn these things.
Okay.
AWS is a, how can I say? It's a mall where you can live in, right? What is the difference between mall and normal shops? If you go
Yes.
for go for shopping in a normal market, you'll have to travel 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers. One shop is here, one shop is there. Ask various candidates, ask various, interact with shopkeepers. A lot of burden. And cloud-based offerings such as AWS, Azure, GCP, all
Okay.
these things are under the same hood, one console. They all can interact very easily with each other. So like you gave an example of Terraform, the offering from AWS is known as um, this cloud formation. Okay, so
Okay.
it's the counterpart of Terraform. You can, both are very similar, both will get the same, means whatever the code that you write for both of them. And yeah, interchangeable. The code, you can use what code you use on CFN, you can use on Terraform.
So, don't you think which requires scripting and all, at least basic knowledge of Linux and all?
No,
No,
it
it
would
does not.
not. No, it depends on the it depends on the service. This is what I told, right? That there are 200 services, and there are
Okay.
some services which you cannot even touch if you're not maybe 5 years experience in networking. So it depends on which service you take up. If you say that would I need complete Linux information to work on EC2 instances, the answer is
Yes.
straightforward,
Yes.
no. Okay,
Okay.
you would not need it. But when
Okay.
you say that would I need scripting or programming knowledge when working with services such as Terraform or CloudFormation, the answer is yes, because those services are meant for that purpose.
Okay.
So it depends on the service that you
So
choose to
EC2
work
does
with.
not require scripting and all.
No, no, it's
All
just
right.
console based, click, 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 deploy.
All right. What in case if I wanted to have those kinds of knowledge?
You
I
learn
mean,
more.
yes, because
As
no, no, no,
simple
I
as
want
that.
to. I wanted to learn. It requires, right. So DevOps and the AWS, which are totally
Huh.
basic and the upper
Yeah,
edge, right?
yeah. So in, see, whatever the, see, when it comes to DevOps, the
Yes.
thing that comes into your mind is what? Docker, Kubernetes, right?
Okay. Oh, yes, yes,
Jenkins,
yes,
GitHub. Yeah,
yes.
all those are inbuilt in AWS. I don't say, I would not say for Jenkins. There would be a counterpart for that, but for Docker we have Amazon ECS, ECR. For Kubernetes we have EKS. For
Okay.
what you said, Git, we have code deploy, code build.
Yes, because in the market currently in the industry, those are very scopable things.
Correct.
Wherever
Correct. So,
So
so in this course, I don't think code deploy, code pipeline are part of solutions architect career path.
okay,
But we'll be touching upon most of the mostly used services, and
okay.
it will give you a fair idea like are you interested in it or what scope it needs.
Yes. So basically, my organization is looking for those kind of things. They are encouraging us to learn those tips in the future. Maybe they require.
See, even if your company does not require right now and it requires in the future, still
Okay.
then you'll have to ramp up on DevOps, right? If you want
Yes.
to work on DevOps, there is no steering away. You and DevOps cannot in it means 2 3 years down the line, there is no future of DevOps without cloud.
Yes.
Deploying of
Definitely.
these servers, Jenkins servers is very costly. Ansible server is very costly. So you
Yes.
would need to ramp up on such a course, such as solutions architect. Only after that you'll have a fair idea of how Jenkins and all can interact with these cloud services.
Okay. So, but you are not going to cover up this Apache Tomcat or Terraform or GitHubs.
Those are not the part of AWS, right?
Yes. Yes.
That
That is there. Okay. All right. So, in which way I'm going to get those presentations on my WhatsApp, right? What are the things syllabus going to cover up?
correct. Correct.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
All right, folks. Yeah.
So I think, yeah, Prince, you have any doubts, so you can ask, or we can wrap up.
No, sir. Thank you.
Everything is clear.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, very nice. So thanks, guys. Thanks for being in the class. Okay. So yeah, Jay. So we can wrap up now. Okay.
Sure.
So
Sure.
yeah,
So let's
thank
wrap
you.
up and I'll see you in the classes. Bye bye, all. Have a
Okay.
nice day.
Thank
Bye.
you.
You too. Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you.